What is this?
This is a birthday card that Gerhardt gave me last year.
And when did the defendant give you that birthday card?
It was in the morning. We were at our hotel getting ready to leave for breakfast and then for the hike, and gave me a present and this card.
Does this photograph fairly and accurately depict the birthday card the defendant gave you on March 24th, 2025?
Yes, it does.
At this point, the state will move State's Exhibit 133 into evidence.
Mr. Otake. No objection. What has been marked for identification as State's Exhibit 133 is received into evidence.
I'm going to publish now what's been marked as State's Exhibit 133. Arielle, how did you feel when you got this card?
Hopeful. I was I teared up when I read it. I thought it was really sweet. And we were coming off a hard season, so, I felt hopeful that...
Can you describe what financial things the defendant actually took care of?
Sure. He made sure did all of the utility payments and bill payments. And then in this case, looked at our life insurance and how much we would need if either of us were to pass away to keep our kids in our house.
Who set the budget?
We didn't really have an established budget.
I'm going to move forward in time just a little bit, Arielle, to February 2025.
Okay.
How did your relationship with the defendant progress into February?
Yeah, like I said, January, was better than December. February is better than January in terms of, stability and kind of seeming like things, being hopeful for the future. In February, we did a family vacation.
Did you receive an email that morning that you shared with Arielle before the hike dealing with life insurance?
Yes.
So first of all, let me ask you, let's back up a little bit. You talked about January, February, and you guys kind of get to this place where you're in counseling, and you guys decide you're going to be together, and you're working on it. Did there come a time when part of what you did during that time was assess the life insurance situation of you and Arielle?
Yeah.
Tell the jury about that.
And really, it was pulling the trigger on life insurance. So I used to have life insurance in Pittsburgh through my employer, and didn't have life insurance when we moved to Maui, and it was always on the to-do list, and just got busy with life and other things. Originally looked into it the previous year, but never went so far as to contact the life insurance agent and actually go through with it. And in January, we were kind of working on big picture relationship things, and I was like, oh shoot, we still have to get life insurance.
Okay.
And so I talked to Ari, and we both applied for life insurance at the same time at the end of
Did
January.
you get the same amount?
No.
Why not?
The idea was that if one spouse would die, the other one would be able to continue on and live in the same house. And so it was, since I made significantly more money than she did, it was basically enough money that she could pay off the house if I would die.
So what so what was the plan in terms of the amount you were trying to get on your life for her?
$1.5 million.
Okay. And then when you guys did the analysis of what, if something happened to her, you would still have your salary to pay for the house and whatnot.
That's right.
So what was the amount that was decided for her?
$250,000.
Okay. And
Yes.
the one
But never left.
Yes.
Can you describe the area around the trailhead of the hike, or the start of the hike?
Sure. There's like a parking lot when you first get there, and then the trailhead itself is kind of hidden. There's a sign that says like the trail is closed here, and it's up. There's like a lava rock wall, and it's above that wall, and then there's like some porta potties off to the side.
When you got to the trailhead, were there any other hikers around?
Yes, when we first got there were two hikers walking around, looking on their phones, kind of looking like they were looking for the trailhead. When there's a sign that says the trail is closed, so it looked like they were trying to figure out where the trail actually was.
And what did you and the defendant do when you saw those two would-be hikers?
We saw them, and I was like, oh, they're looking for the trail too. We should tell them it's up here, because we had seen hikes like that before where you kind of go past the sign. And he said,
Did you
no.
hike the whole trail that morning?
No.
Can you describe what the start of the trail was like?
Sure. And we just kind of quickly went behind the porta potties to get up there, and the start of the trail is pretty wooded and rocky.
You mentioned you didn't hike the whole trail. At a certain point, did you decide to turn around?
Yes, we were hiking, and there's kind of these like cliff faces that you walk past, and it's pretty narrow. And I was just feeling uneasy, and I wasn't enjoying myself. And we got to a part where you had to kind of scramble, use your arms and legs to get up. And it was kind of exposed. There weren't really a lot of trees, and I was just uneasy. And so I told Gerhardt, I'm not having fun. I don't want to keep going. I'm going to stop here.
Arielle, can you explain to us what was making you uneasy?
The cliffs were just feeling, it was windy, and the trail was narrow, and the cliffs were really steep.
Do you know how tall the cliffs were?
I don't, hundreds of feet, I would say.
Okay, so you're feeling uneasy, and you just said you told the defendant you didn't want to continue. What happened after you told the defendant that?
Well, I had hiked up part of that little scramble area, and I came back down because I was feeling it was like very exposed up there. And so I came back down, and I was like, I told him he could keep going if he wanted to, and I would wait there. And so he went on for a little while I just kind of hung out. And that was maybe, again, 5 or 10 minutes, and then he came back.
Okay, so once the defendant got back, did he say anything?
Yeah, he came back, and he was like, it's really beautiful. You should really come on it. It's too dangerous for me to be walking around by myself, but you've already done the hardest part by coming up this part. You should really come up and we could keep going. And I was just like, no, I'm not enjoying it. I don't feel good. I'm not doing it.
All right, so after you told the defendant no, what trail were you guys hiking?
The Pali Puka Trail.
Can you describe the Pali Puka Trail?
Yeah, it's pretty steep when you start. It's pretty wooded. You kind of get up to a clearing that has a ridge that kind of drops off. And if you keep going up, there's a little hole in the rock.
It's the hole of the Puka?
Yes.
Had you ever done the hike before March 24th, 2005?
Yes, I have.
About how many times?
Maybe a handful.
And you mentioned somebody named Sarah. Who is Sarah?
Sarah's one of my friends.
Where's she from?
She's from Canada.
All right. On that date, March 24th, 2025, did you make it all the way up to the Puka?
No, we did not.
And can you tell us a little bit about if there's any hazards to the trail?
It can be pretty hazardous. Whenever you get up to the ridge, it's pretty narrow, and it has a sheer drop-off.
Okay. Using town and windward side as directions, which side is the drop-off?
The windward side.
And the edge isn't, like the cliffside isn't open, but there's a couple of spots where you can get to the cliffside if you wanted to. So we're kind of still in that area, the same area that picture was taken.
Okay.
And Ari says, hey, I need to talk to you about something. I'm working on this project with Jeff Miller, and I'm going to need to travel with him again, and I need you to be okay with that. Is that okay?
Okay. And so she was kind of telling you like, hey, there's just things at work going on. I need you to be okay with this. And asking you to trust her.
Yes.
Okay. Again, you mentioned you guys weren't talking about the affair at home anymore because of counseling, correct?
That's correct.
And you guys weren't talking about it in counseling a lot at that time?
We hadn't gotten to
That.
kind of the core of it yet.
So she brings this up. What is your reaction to it?
I'm very surprised, yeah.
Were you upset and angry?
I wasn't angry. I was surprised and upset, and I told her no. Like I'm not okay with that. And not only am I not okay with that, like I'm never going to be okay with that. Like we haven't dealt with that part. Like the only reason why I was okay with her still even working there is because we had placed these limits on their communication. But in my mind, like she still needed at some point to quit her job, and this was only put on hold while we were trying to deal with all these other things. She basically said like, well, I can't quit my job right now because I don't even know if I want to stay with you. So we were dealing with like the issues that she brought up first, but it's not like any of the affair had been resolved at all. Like it had just kind of been put on hold. And so
How did you feel that she would even think that this would even be okay?
Yeah, I mean, it made me realize that we were just not on the same page at all in terms of, like, here I am just kind of like sublimating my feelings and focusing on her hurt and waiting patiently for her to do the same to me. And this made me feel like she wasn't intending on doing that ever.
So what did you say back to her? Were you guys kind of arguing about it?
Yeah, we were for sure arguing.
Okay, and then so what did you say anything to her?
I just said,
out?
yeah, I said like I need you to move out. Like this has gone far enough. I need you to move out, and I'm going to tell people why you're moving out, and I'm going to show them what you did, because like unless you face this and unless you take full accountability for this, like we're never going to get through this.
So and that was like after you guys had been kind of arguing for
Yes.
a while about. I mean, an argument starts. You guys are arguing. You're telling her no. You're telling her all these things.
Yeah, I mean the argument developed more slowly than what just happened, and there was other things said too. But that's
how it culminated with you telling her, well, if that's the case, if that's how you feel, you got to move on.
Yes.
Okay. What did she say anything to you about her mom and Gianna?
She did. So like earlier in the conversation, she'd be like, "Well, what if my mom chaperones my work trips with him?" And I was like, "No, like I'm still not okay with that. Like and that's not a long-term viable solution." And then later in the argument, when things kind of got heated, she was like, well, "Actually, my mom just said that she'll chaperone the trip, and she thinks Jeff is interesting and can't wait to meet him." And I'm like, "You're obviously telling them a whole different version of what happened than me."
So in the argument, in her effort to say for you to be okay with it and go on the trip, she said, "Well, what if my mom chaperones me?"
Yes.
Okay. After it comes to this point in the argument where you say, "Well, you know what, you got to move out there. I'm going to tell everybody what you did." I mean, it was a pretty. It got to kind of it was not a good conversation. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Again, what did he do?
Then we started making our way back down the trail.
And can you describe for us what you and the defendant were doing as you started to head back down the trail?
Sure, we were just walking and talking, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not as much fun as I used to be since having kids, I guess." But yeah, I'm just not enjoying this today. And we were walking down, and there's this big tree, and I was like, "Oh, I'll climb the tree. You can take my picture up there." And so we did that.
Okay. Who took the picture of who in the tree?
Yeah, I climbed the tree. I gave Gerhardt my phone and my purse to hold, and I climbed the tree, and he took the picture on my phone.
So after you take the picture in this tree, where did you go?
And I just climbed back down, back to Gerhardt in the trail.
Okay. Once you climbed down from the tree, who had your phone and your purse?
Gerhardt still had my phone and purse.
Why did you say don't look down there?
It's a very steep cliff behind him.
Okay, I want to fast forward in time a little bit to the photos you mentioned later.
Sure.
So did you take any other photos on the way down?
Yes, right at that cliff. When I had come out of the tree and when we had walked to that cliff area, Gerhardt said, "Let's take a selfie with this as the backdrop." So we would be standing with our backs to the cliff, taking a photo.
Before you took that selfie, or before the defendant asked to take that selfie, did you notice anything about the defendant's attention?
Yes, he was very aware of where I was, where my feet were, where he was, and where the trail was. I felt like he was often looking at my feet and just very spatially aware of where I was on the trail.
Did you ever take that selfie?
We did. It wasn't quite as close to the edge as he wanted. I was standing from that photo. You can see there's a pine tree, and I was holding onto a branch of that because I was just uneasy that close to the edge. And we did take a selfie, but I held onto that tree.
Okay. Do you still have access to that selfie?
I don't.
What happened after you took the selfie while you were holding onto the tree?
I just asked him to move down the trail a little bit so that I could get past without having to go near the cliff.
And then how did the defendant react to that?
He was a little like, okay, and then he moved a few paces away.
Okay. So after the defendant moved down the trail a few paces away, what did you do?
Then I walked to him, so he was then facing me and the cliff, and I walked up to him. And again, we were just, everything was normal. I walked up and just kind of like brushed my hands against his shoulders, like kind of like a little hug.
Okay. As you had your hands against his shoulders, where was the defendant facing?
He was facing the cliff, facing me. My back was to the cliff, and he's facing me and the cliff.
And how far behind you was the cliff?
Feet, 10 or less.
Excuse me, I couldn't hear that.
10 or less feet.
All right. So, okay, after this happens, after you get to where the defendant is on the trail, what happened next?
When I walk up to him, then he grabbed me really forcefully by my upper arms, and he said, "I'm so fucking sick of this shit. Get back over there." And he starts pushing me back towards the cliff.
While the defendant was grabbing you and pushing you, what did you do?
I was surprised. It felt almost like he was kidding at first, and I was like, "What are you doing?" But he had grabbed me really hard and was moving me. So we kind of wrestled a little bit, and I threw myself onto the ground because there's a lot of trees and shrubs there so that I could hold on.
As you threw yourself to the ground, how did the defendant respond?
Well, he got on top of me, and he was kind of trying to pull me, and we're wrestling, and he ended up straddling me, so he had his legs on either side, kind of across my waist.
On March 24, 2025, how tall were you?
About 5'6".
And how much did you weigh on that day?
About 145 pounds.
Okay. And on that date, how tall was the defendant?
About 5'10".
And how much did he weigh?
Maybe 165 pounds.
Okay, and then you said straddling. Can you describe what that looked like for us?
Sure. I am laying on my back, and he's on top of me with kind of like one leg on either side across my waist, facing me.
Once the defendant was on top of you, what did he do next?
So he was first trying to pull me, trying to get me closer to the cliff, and again, I could kind of hold on to the roots and stuff that were around us. A blue piece, maybe blue plunger, I guess is what that's called.
Once you were able to bat the syringe away onto the ground, what did the defendant do next?
So he had taken his backpack off, and it was on the ground to his left, so kind of to the right side of my body here. And he was digging in that with his left hand, and then kind of holding me down with his right hand. And I'm screaming, and I'm saying, "What the fuck are you doing? Get off me!" And he's saying like, "Fuck you, you're done. I'm so sick of your shit. I'm so done with you." And I'm trying to kind of protect myself and get out of there. But also he's gripping his hand closed really hard. And there's a vial in his hand. So I was trying to pry his hand open so I could grab that vial out.
Okay. Which hand did you see the vial in?
The vial was in his right hand.
And did you actually get to see the entire vial?
No.
Okay. What part of it did you see?
I could see pieces of it because I'm trying to like pry his fingers off of it so that I can grab it and throw it.
Were you able to open his hand that was holding the vial?
Not enough to get the vial away.
All right. You mentioned the defendant was saying some things. Can you tell us what you remember he said as he was on top of you?
Yeah. oh, I mean, I'm screaming, and he's telling me, shut the fuck up. Nobody's going to hear you out here. Nobody's coming to save you. And I'm saying, like, you can't do this. Everyone knows we're on a hike. They'll know this wasn't an accident, and our kids will be orphans. You'll go to jail, and I'll be dead. Like, you have to stop. And again, he's saying, like, you're done. We're done with you. We don't need you anymore. Calm down a little bit. Like, it seemed like he took a deep breath and calmed down. And so I had this moment where I was like, okay, this is the break. Like, I can get out. And then he just starts hitting me with a rock.
Okay. I'm going to backtrack for just a moment, Arielle. As the defendant was on top of you, as the defendant was saying things, and as you were saying things back, were you trying to defend yourself physically at all?
Yes, and I'm screaming and trying to defend myself physically. So I think I bit his forearm at one point, trying to, that would have been his right forearm. And then I was also squeezing his testicles with so I had my right hand trying to squeeze his testicles to get him to get off of me.
Okay. And was that, when you were doing those things, was that before or after he calmed down, as you just said?
That was before he calmed down.
Okay. So what happened, you said, after the defendant calmed down?
Oh, well, it felt like he calmed down because it looked like he took a deep breath. And again, I was screaming, and so he's covering my mouth and stuff, and then we had this moment of, like, it seems like he takes a deep breath, and then he just starts hitting my face and my head with a rock.
Did you see where the defendant got the rock from?
I didn't see where he got it from, but, like, spatially, he was, like, reaching up around this area of my head. So my impression was that there was a rock on the ground near my head that he was able to grab.
Were you just holding your hand around the left side of your head?
Yes. Sorry.
When the defendant was hitting you with the rock, did you say anything?
I just started screaming because in my mind, he was trying to knock me unconscious to get to be able to drag me over the edge. So I just was screaming then as much as I could.
Did the defendant respond to what you were screaming?
No.
Did anybody other than the defendant respond to what you were screaming?
Yes. So I'm screaming, and I do think I was saying something like, please help. He's trying to kill me. I'm hoping somebody can kind of hear that. And I, at some point, hear a woman's voice say, we're here, and we're calling 911.
Yeah.
We're here.
So what did you do next?
I stomped off. I just stomped off up the trail, and this was a point where we were both really kind of just upset with each other, and I went one way and she went the other way.
How far up did you go?
5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Why
did you turn around?
I was kind of at a loss of not kind of a loss. I was I just didn't want to be there. Like
Did it make sense for you to keep going on this hike?
no. I like 5 to 10 minutes in, I was like realizing kind of and then I felt like a shove.
Okay.
And I was almost pushed over the edge.
Okay. You felt a shove. Okay. Who shoved you?
Henry did.
What did you do right after that?
Barely caught myself and turned around and looked at her and was like, "What the fuck was that?" Like,
Okay. Turned around and it was like what like was like kind of in shock, like what the fuck was that?
yes,
Okay. And then did you move towards her?
yeah, I did. I was like, just asking her like, what was that, and started walking towards her,
Okay.
because at this point she was like 5 or 10 feet away from me.
Okay. So you walk towards her, and you mentioned when you're walking towards her, where were your hands?
Out.
Okay. Now, did you get close to her?
Yes, eventually, yeah. Well,
And by the way, when you start walking towards her, is she saying anything?
not initially, but I turn around and I'm asking her like, what the hell's, what the fuck just happened and what's going on? And as I'm starting to walk towards her, she starts yelling.
She starts yelling.
Yeah, help me, help me.
Okay. And then what happens?
And then I just keep walking to her like, what are you doing?
Were you
And I
telling
get-
her, like, why are you screaming?
Yeah, what are you doing? And I get to her, and I'm like, touching her, just putting my hands on her arms, and I was like, what are you doing? What's going on?
What happens then?
She keeps yelling, and she kind of grabs my wrists and throws herself on the ground and pulls me down with her.
So now you guys are on the ground?
Yes.
Okay. When you're on the ground, what starts to happen?
She's holding on to me, and I'm trying to, I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but I'm also at this point trying to let go of,
Pretty hard.
she was holding on to me by my testicles, basically, like that hard.
Okay. Did she grab it and let go, or did she grab it and hold on?
She grabbed it and held on.
Now, what happens after she does that?
Then I try to free my testicles, and so I'm like thrashing with and I get both hands free, and I'm trying to get her to let go of my testicles, and then she hits me with a rock on the side of the face.
Okay. She's holding on to your testicles. You're kind of focused on that, obviously, and then at some point while you're focused on that, you
And it happened all really fast.
Yeah.
But
That's
I mean,
I'm glad you raised that up. Was this like happening slowly, where you had
it
time
all
to
happened within probably less than a minute, maybe
quickly?
slightly more than a minute, but I mean 2 minutes or something.
but you weren't timing it.
From the moment that like we were on the ground and she was grabbing my testicles was like
It happened quickly.
everything after the grabbing of the testicles happened very quickly.
Okay. And you weren't timing it or anything.
No.
This is just your estimate. Okay. So now she's holding on to you. She's squeezing your testicles, and you kind of dealing with that. And she's on the ground, and you're kind of on top of her.
Yes.
Okay. And you said then you felt you got hit with the rock.
Yes.
Where'd you get hit?
On the left side of my face.
How many times?
She kept doing it. The first blow she landed really well, and after that I was able to block
Okay.
fairly well. She did like land a couple more, but not as bad as the first one.
Does she still got your testicles?
Yeah, so she's like holding my testicle and just like
Okay.
hitting me like this.
And now do you stop dealing with your
I'm
testicles?
just
and you-
focused on the rock at this point.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Did it hurt when you got hit with the rock?
you did.
Could we publish what's in evidence as Exhibit D30, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay. Gerhardt, is this where you got hit with the rock?
Yes,
That area? Is that the area?
yes.
All right. We can take that down. Now, you get hit with the rock. Explain to the jury what happens next and why.
I was able to wrestle the rock out of her hand.
Does she still have your testicles?
Yes,
Still squeezing them?
yes.
What
And
do you do?
I was able to like. So we're like she's hitting me and I'm like blocking, and then I start like, and I get
Is
her
there a
wrist.
scuffle over the rock?
Yes.
Is it near her face?
Yes. I mean
Okay.
it's
And then what
right.
happens?
And I finally get the rock.
What'd you do?
I hit her with the rock.
How many times do you think you hit her?
I hit her 2 times.
And when you did, was she still holding on to your testicles?
Yes.
At least initially?
Yes.
Why did you hit her? Why did you react that way?
Just on instinct to defend myself.
Okay. How fast was this all happening? Pretty fast?
Really fast.
Okay. In between when she hit you with the rock and in between the time she hit you with the rock and when you hit her with the rock, were you able to safely retreat and get away from her?
No.
Yeah. Why not?
She was holding on to me.
Including your testicles?
Yes.
Did you hit her in the face or the eye with the rock?
No.
Where you said 2 times, where did you hit her?
On the side of the head.
Okay. So we've seen these photos of the stellate laceration. You caused that by hitting her, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you continue to hit her after those 2 hits?
No.
And why not?
because she stopped fighting. She let go of my testicles, and I was
Okay.
able to stand up.
And then you stop.
Yes.
You know, there was testimony about the two witnesses. Did you stop hitting her because the witnesses showed up?
No, I didn't know that they were there until after I stood up.
Did you see blood?
Yes.
Was there a lot of blood?
There was a lot of blood.
Did you see her kind of scoot down towards the witnesses?
Yes.
Did you try to stop her in any way?
No.
You let her get to them.
Yes.
Okay. And what's on the town side?
Kind of brushy. I've never tried to get down. It's not hard.
All right, and just to be sure, is the Pali Lookout and the Pali Puka Trail both on the island of Oahu?
Yes.
So what happened when you and Sarah started hiking up the trail?
We were a couple minutes in, maybe midway between the start of the trail and kind of where the ridge is at, and we started hearing someone scream for help over and over again.
And what was the person screaming?
Just help me, help me, help me.
Were you able to recognize the gender of the voice you heard?
Yes, it was female.
So you hear a woman's voice screaming, "Help, help me." What did you think?
We thought somebody had fallen. It's not uncommon for someone to fall because of the ridge being so steep and narrow.
How big is the cliff there?
I don't have an exact number, but it's pretty far down.
So when you and Sarah heard this screaming, what did you do?
We quickly got to the top just because we were worried someone was in danger.
And when you got to the top, can you describe the area you got to?
Yeah, whenever we got to the top, we could immediately see kind of over into the valley, and that leads to the left.
So you're about 4-ish minutes in, you get to the clearing of the ridgeline.
Got it. And what happened as you and Amanda were hiking up the trail?
We started hearing a woman screaming for help.
You said it was a woman screaming?
Yeah, it was a woman desperately screaming for help.
What was she screaming?
Help, help, help.
When you heard the woman screaming, "Help, help, help," what did you think?
We initially thought it was someone falling off the edge of the cliff, so we started running in the direction of the screaming.
And once you heard the woman screaming, "Help, help, help," where did you go on the trail?
Initially, we were still in that beginning part, so we went up, and then we
left,
hit.
which is the little trail.
And, okay, so you get up to the ridge, up to this part of the trail. Do you see anybody up there?
Yes, whenever we turned the corner to the left, we saw a man and a woman.
Okay. What was the position of the woman?
She was laying on her back.
What was the position of the man?
He was on top of her.
Okay, when you first got there, did you see the man doing anything?
Yes, he was hitting her with a rock.
Can you describe the area of the trail where you saw the woman on her back and the man hitting her with the rock?
So whenever you kind of turn the corner from like a little ridge section, there's like a little grassy area where you can kind of overlook into the valley.
When we say overlook, what are we overlooking?
Just a steep drop off into the windward side.
And you said you saw the man hitting the woman with a rock. Do you know where he hit her?
Looked like in the head.
What was the man wearing?
It's like a light whitish gray shirt and blue shorts.
If you were to see that man again, would you be able to recognize him?
Yes.
Could you please take a look around the whole courtroom? And if you see the male that you saw on that day hitting the woman with the rock, could you point him out and let us know an article of clothing he's wearing?
Yes, this gentleman in the blue.
Sorry?
Gentleman in the blue.
Okay. Your Honor, let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant. What position was the man in?
He was facing the ridge, sort of standing, but crouched a bit.
Did you see anybody else there initially?
Initially, I didn't.
Okay. Did you see anybody else there eventually?
Yes.
Who else did you see?
I saw Arielle.
What position was Arielle in?
When I saw her, she was on her stomach crawling towards us.
Now, how close was the man to the edge?
Fairly close.
Okay. And what was over the edge of the trail?
Nothing. It's just rich and then drop down.
Got it. Okay, so a drop.
Yeah, a big drop.
Did the man have anything in his hands?
He had a rock.
If you were to see the man again, would you be able to recognize him?
Yes.
If he's in the courtroom today, could you point him out and let us know an article of clothing he's wearing?
He's wearing the blue shirt.
Okay. And Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
Record will reflect identification was made.
Can you describe the condition of the woman as you saw her?
Her face was covered in blood. Her head was covered in. She was just fully covered in blood.
Did the woman say anything?
She screamed, "Help! He's trying to kill me! Call 911."
Okay. What was the position of the defendant and the woman when she screamed, "Help, he's trying to kill me"?
He was standing above her.
And where was she?
She was laying on her stomach.
After the woman...
Reflect identification was made.
Okay. Amanda, after you get up to this area, you see the man hitting the woman with the rock. Was the woman saying anything at that point?
She was saying, help me, he's trying to kill me.
After the woman said, help me, he's trying to kill me, what did the defendant do?
They both saw us and he stopped and stood up.
Did the defendant say anything?
No.
Okay. Amanda, could you clarify the chronological, the timeline order, the three different things you told us this morning?
Mm-hmm.
The three different things, hearing the woman say, he's trying to kill me, hearing the woman screaming, help me, and seeing the defendant hit a woman with a rock. Could you put that into order for us?
Yes, we were hiking up the trail. We heard her screaming, help me, help me. We got up to the top, and whenever we first saw them, he was hitting her, and they both noticed us, and she said, help me, he's trying to kill me.
After the woman said, help me, he's trying to kill me, how did you and Sarah react?
We started to take steps back just because we were pretty close to the edge, and we were afraid that something could happen to us and that we were in danger.
Sorry. Ms. Morris, could you maybe drag the microphone a little bit
Yeah.
close to your mouth as well? Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if we could get that answer one more time. So I'll ask the same question. After the woman said, he's trying to kill me, how did you and Sarah react?
Sarah and I started to take a couple steps back because we were a little afraid for our own safety since we were kind of close to the edge.
Once you two stepped back, or where did you and Sarah step back to?
Maybe 5 or so feet back, and we kind of turned a little bit of a corner, and that's when Sarah started to call 911.
Once you stepped back and went around the corner, did the woman say anything?
She said, please don't leave me, he's trying to kill me.
Did you and Sarah respond?
Yes, we said we're not leaving, we're just taking a step back for our own safety. We are calling 911.
For a moment, I'm going to publish Dates Exhibit 3.
And ladies and
Can I help
gentlemen,
you?
Sorry.
go ahead, publish.
Okay.
Hi, someone's currently being attacked on the top of Pali Puka. Where? There's a man trying to kill her. She's blood all over her face. Where is this at? Pali Puka, the hike at the lookout. Okay, so Pali on the top of lookout. She's on the Pali Puka hike, and he's currently attacking her. Okay, where, how far is the hike? Or is it the entrance? Where? We're probably like 5 minutes into the hike, really quick in. Okay, what are you seeing? We heard her screaming, help, help me, and then we saw a man over her, and then she crawled out with blood over her face, saying that he's trying to kill her. And does she know him? I don't know. Okay, where is he at? What is he wearing? She was in a t-shirt, white. She had brownish, sort of curly hair. Asian, Caucasian, Hawaiian, white guy? Yeah, white guy. Okay. And then what kind of shirt? T-shirt, maybe. I'm sorry, shorts. Pardon? What kind of shorts? I didn't see. She's wearing shorts, though. Okay, and did he walk away from her? No, he was not. We walked away because we didn't want him to attack us. Okay, so he's still there. Yeah. They were both hiking. And was she Caucasian? What is she wearing? It was hard to say. She was covered in blood and she was crawling. Okay, and then, so she's 5 minutes into... The man is here. The girl is here. She's wearing a purple tank top. She's okay. She's covered in blood. She's near us, though. Does she have a weapon? Did he have a weapon? He didn't have a weapon. Okay. Just a rock. He was hitting her with a rock. Okay. Is this the Pali Lookout? Is that the one on the town side going towards, or is it on the Kailua side? The Pali Lookout. We need an ambulance, but it's on the town side. There was an accident. The police were actually really close to the entrance because there was an accident. Okay, that helps me. Okay, and then what is your name? Sarah.
We're here. We're calling 911.
Okay, so after you hear that woman's voice, what happens?
He just kind of Gerhardt just kind of froze and knelt back away from me, and I just crawled away really slowly. And again, he seemed just frozen. And then I was yelling to the voices I heard, "Are you still there? Are you still there? Don't leave me." And I couldn't hear anybody calling anything back, so I just kept crab walking away, like I'm on my butt, kind of like scooting. And I just kept going and got to like a lower part of the trail. The women were down there, and one of them was on the phone with emergency personnel.
As you crab walked away, did the defendant follow you?
No.
So as you crab walked away, did you see what the defendant did?
He just, like I said, he seemed frozen. He just kind of stood up and was staring. And then I didn't see where he went after that. He didn't follow me when I went down to those women.
What happened when you got to the two women?
When I got to them, we were just trying to figure out how to get out of there as quickly as we could. And so they tried to stand me up to see if we could walk down with me kind of draped over them to get through, but I couldn't stand. Excuse me. That was just like an unstable. So one of them went behind me and was kind of sweeping to make sure he wasn't coming after us, visually scanning to make sure he wasn't coming after us. And then the other one was in front leading us. And one of the women had like a large metal water bottle, and she had that in her hand, and she was like, "This is the only weapon I have." But and then I crab walked or kind of scooted down the whole trail with them on kind of either part to try to keep us safe.
Sarah, okay, we'll send somebody out there just to go for the officer and I'll send the ambulance. We'll definitely need an ambulance, okay? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Are you okay?
Okay. After you made that 911 call, Sarah, what did you and Amanda do next?
We hiked down with Arielle.
Can you describe for us what it was like hiking down that trail with Arielle?
She wasn't able to walk, so she scooted down on her bum. Initially, she was behind us. At one point, she asked if she could just be in the middle because she wasn't sure if he was going to come back and attack her. So Amanda was in the front, Arielle was in the middle, I was at the end, and I was just looking around to see if he was going to come back or not.
Were you able to successfully get down to the bottom of the trail?
Yes.
Did the defendant follow you at all?
No.
When you were up on the trail, when you initially got to that clearing and saw the defendant, were you able to get a good look at him?
Yes.
Did you make eye contact?
Yes.
How long did you make eye contact with the defendant for?
Approximately 30 seconds.
Going up, when you guys heard it, you guys kind of quickly went up together, correct?
Yes.
And she was kind of like right by you when you guys got there, right?
Yeah, she was right behind me.
Right behind you, yes. You indicated that you see a man, women on her back, a man on top, and you indicate you see him hitting her with a rock, but you only saw him hit her one time, correct?
Yes.
Back away. And ma'am, you never saw any vials or syringes, correct?
No.
Well, I asked that the wrong way. Did you see any vials or syringes?
No, I did not.
And ma'am, you did not see how the incident started, correct?
Correct.
You did not see who started it, correct?
Correct.
You did run towards it quickly, and when you show up, you said your friend was in front of you,
Correct.
but you were right behind her, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, you didn't see the man hit the female, correct?
Correct.
Back away, and you called 911, yes?
Correct.
That was your voice on it?
Correct.
Okay. And you may.
Probably saw it briefly.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I should ask you something. How do you pronounce your last name? Is it
Buchsbaum. Buchsbaum?
Buchsbaum?
Buchsbaum, yeah.
Miss Buchsbaum, you did not see how the incident started, correct?
Correct.
And you did not see who started the incident, correct?
Correct.
My son, Emile.
Before you jumped.
Yes.
Were you in a good state of mind when you made that call?
No.
How do you feel about the fact that you put him in that position and made that call to him?
So many feelings because he saved my life that day.
Also, convinced you not to jump?
He saved my life that day, but I put him in this position where he is now, where he thinks I tried to kill her. And for the last year, he's thought that. And
We heard him yesterday only refer to you as the defendant and not as dad.
yes.
You blame him? Sorry, one second.
No, I don't blame him. I had such good intentions of calling him, but
In the sense that you wanted to say goodbye.
I wanted just to say goodbye and tell him how he's an amazing person and he should live his life to the fullest. And
Okay. Okay. Let me stop you. Okay. Was your purpose to explain to him every last detail of what happened?
no,
Okay. But you did tell him several things, right?
yes,
Did you tell him that Arielle had been having an affair?
I did.
Okay. Did you tell him that she got hurt, her head was bleeding?
Yeah, after he asked about the blood on my shirt.
Now, did the word "kill" come up in the conversation?
It probably did.
What do you recall explaining to him about that?
I don't recall explaining. The only thing I can think of is that I said that she said I tried to kill her.
Okay. So let's break back that up.
Yeah.
So you told him that the blood was hers, yes,
Yes,
and you're telling him that you're going to jump,
and yes,
okay. And did you tell him something about? Well, we're going to get to the part about the police, but you're telling him about how you're going to jump, and you were saying you heard her say to the witnesses, he tried to kill me. Okay. Were you explaining that to Emile?
no. So
What
I
were
was
you saying?
I was talking to myself at the same time too, And I was basically saying, like, because I remember saying, like, wow, this is, like, so hard, because it turns out killing yourself is a hard thing to do once you actually, like, go and do it.
Okay.
And so I was, like, talking to him about, like, saying goodbye, and she had an affair, and those things. But then I was also kind of, like, talking to myself, and I think I was saying to myself, like, she said I tried to kill her. She said I tried to kill her.
Okay. Were you confessing to him that you were trying to kill Ari that day?
No.
Okay. Did you have an intention to kill Ari that day?
No.
Okay. Would you have said it that way? I tried to kill Ari that day.
No.
Okay. But you don't dispute that the word kill probably came up.
No.
Okay. And can you understand how Emile in that conversation could have got that impression?
Yes.
Okay. So what else happens in this first call? What do you mean when you say he tried to convince you not to jump?
He just, and I mean, to his credit, I mean, he just reminded me that I had a choice, basically.
Okay. Reminded me to have a choice.
Yeah. Because he
So-
said, like, you know, do you really have to do this?
After that, you got off the phone with him. Well, you didn't jump, right?
No.
Okay. There was a second call an hour later,
Yes.
and he testified that he was at his Ari's parents' house. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, during that call, did he tell you what he told to Ari's parents?
Yes.
What did he tell you that he told Ari's parents?
He said, well, yeah, he said, I told them that you tried to kill Ari.
And what was your reaction to that?
I was like, why would you say that? And
'Cause
then,
you didn't mean that in the first call?
right.
Okay, so you're telling him why
And
did
I
you tell
didn't,
him?
at that point I was like, so confused at why he would.
And according to you, so the rock is something, according to you, he picks up when you guys are on the ground, correct?
That's my, that's how it felt. Yes, sir.
Okay? And according to you, Gerhardt then blasts you in the head with all his might 10 times with this rock, correct?
I don't know that I used those exact words, but he used the rock to hit me, and it was my impression that he was using his full force at the time when asked.
Okay? You said that he was bashing it against your face and head, yes?
Yes, sir.
He was smashing it into your head and face, yes?
Yes, sir.
Full blast, 100% of his power is what you said, yes?
Yes, sir.
And 10 times, yes?
I said as many as 10 times, sir. I wasn't counting.
Well, you told that to the detective, you told that to the grand jury, correct?
Yes, sir.
Under oath, right?
Yes.
That it was many as 10 times, correct?
Yes, sir.
Your head, forehead, and eye is what you said, yes?
That's right, sir.
To your knowledge, you did not lose consciousness, correct?
To my knowledge, I did not lose consciousness, correct?
You were taken to Queens and examinations and tests were done on you, yes?
Yes, sir.
In particular, a CAT scan, correct?
Yes, sir.
You did not have any skull fractures, correct?
That's correct. No skull fracture.
Yeah, no.
And then you testified that Arielle took that rock. I'm going to grab Exhibit 2 right now. You testified that Arielle took this rock and hit you in the face. Isn't that right?
That's right.
And you said the first hit, she got me kind of good, right?
That's right.
And you said she kept trying, right?
That's right.
And you testified you tried to start blocking it, right?
Yes.
And you testified she actually got a couple more hits in, right?
Yes.
So, but you don't know how many hits, right?
No.
One good hit to the side of your face, correct?
That's right.
Publish States Exhibit 236. This is a photo of you from March 24th, 2025, correct?
That's right.
This is immediately after the police arrested you, right?
That's right.
This is the closest photo of you after Arielle hit you with this rock, right?
That's right.
Publish alongside States Exhibit 1. Okay, so on the right side, we have you after Arielle got one good hit with you with the rock, right?
That's right.
And on the right side, we have you after Arielle kept hitting you with the rock and got a couple other less good hits. Is that right?
That's right.
On the left side of the screen, you testified that you hit Arielle 2 times, right?
That's correct.
On the left side of the screen, we have the results that you say you hit her only 2 times, correct?
That's correct.
Let's move on to the next day. We're going to publish states, I'm sorry, not the next day. We're going to publish states D30 on the right side. I'm sorry, defense 30 on the right side. Okay, look at the right side of the screen, please. This photo on the right side of the screen is you at the hospital, correct?
That's correct.
You at the hospital on the night of March 24th, 2025, correct?
That's correct.
This is you at the hospital after Arielle got a good hit on you with this rock, correct?
That's right.
On the left side of the screen, I'm going to put up states 23. This is Arielle at the hospital, correct?
That's right.
This is Arielle at the hospital after your 2 hits, correct?
That's right.
And you say only 2 hits to Arielle, right?
I only hit her 2 times.
This is the front of Arielle's face after those 2 hits, right?
Yes.
Which exhibit?
States 22.
Thank you.
Put up states 27. This is Arielle's hand after those. This is Arielle's hand after those 2 hits, right?
Yes.
And lastly, we'll put up on the left side states 1, 2, 8. On the left side of the screen, that's Arielle on March 25th, 2025, correct?
I don't know when that picture was taken, but I'll take your word for it.
That's Arielle the day afterwards, right?
Like I said, I don't know when that picture was taken, but I'll take your word for it.
We'll publish on the right side states 239. We'll flip it upside correctly. And this is you again, correct?
Yes.
This is you on March 25th, 2025, right?
I think that was like the night of, like just after midnight, but it was after the previous picture. That's right.
This is you one day after Arielle hit you really good with this rock, isn't it?
That's right.
Take the recess. I'm going to go through 2 situations. Situation 1, if Arielle divorces you, you're likely going to be paying child support, correct?
Yes.
And you know from your last marriage, that's very expensive, right?
It's not that expensive, but
You paid almost $30,000 a year in 2018, correct?
it's not a reason why I wouldn't divorce her if we had a good reason for it. That's all I'm saying.
If Arielle divorces you, if she divorces you, you're likely the one that's going to be paying child support. That's correct?
If we ended up getting a divorce, I would be paying child support, correct?
If Arielle ends up divorcing you, you don't get anything from her life insurance, correct?
If Arielle, if we get divorced, neither one of us gets either one of our life insurances.
Arielle divorces you, you don't get any of her retirement accounts, correct?
If we get divorced, well, that's not true. No, if we get divorced, Arielle might get some of my retirement account because my retirement account is much bigger than hers.
The question was, if Arielle divorces you, you do not get her retirement account, correct?
This is a question of law. It's not that's overruled.
I know the retirement accounts are going to be. I know that retirement account division is part of divorce, and I know that there's a lot of things that go into that calculation. I know that my retirement account is much bigger than her retirement account, and I'm not sure what portions we'll be able to keep because it's based on when the contributions were made and things like that.
You know that you're likely not going to be taking her retirement if she divorces you, correct?
Like I said, I don't know what's going to come of all that. It's a complicated. It's much more complicated than the life insurance issue, for example.
And you know that if Arielle divorces you, a likely outcome would be 50-50 custody, correct?
It depends on the circumstances of the divorce.
You knew before March 24, 2025 that if Arielle divorced you, 50-50 custody is generally standard, correct?
Yes, absolutely, and that's what I would have been advocating for.
Second scenario, if Arielle dies, you don't pay any child support, correct?
If Arielle died when?
If Arielle Konig dies, you're not going to be paying her any child support, correct?
If Arielle dies, and yes, I would not be paying. Yes, I would not be paying a dead person child support. Yes.
If Arielle dies, you get the $250,000 life insurance policy she took out, correct?
Yes.
That your suggestion, correct?
Not my suggestion to take out the life insurance policy. It was a joint decision.
If Arielle dies, you get $250,000 from her retirement, correct?
Yes.
As the sole beneficiary, correct?
Yes.
If Arielle dies, you get full custody of the kids, right?
If Arielle dies, I'm the only parent left. Yes.
No further questions.
If you get convicted of this charge,
Objection.
she gets full custody.
Approach.
You were asked about custody.
Yes.
Love your boys?
Yes. More than I can describe.
Excuse me?
More than words can describe.
Do you want to fight Arielle for 50-50 custody in the divorce?
Absolutely.
Okay. You were asked about how if she died, you would have got $250,000. How much money would Arielle have gotten if you died?
Over $2 million, including the life insurance and the retirement.
Let's talk about that. How much life insurance did you take out on your life for her?
$1.5 million.
And that was in this January to March time period?
Yes.
During that time period, you decided to take out $1.5 million of life insurance on your life for her, right?
Yes.
You had more retirement than her?
Yes.
And if you died, that would go to her.
Yes.
they brought up child support. Throughout, when you were, your two older kids, they asked you about that. After you and their mom split up, did you pay child support?
Yes.
Did you feel it was the right thing to do?
Yes.
Did you want to do that for your kids?
Yes.
If you and Ari got divorced, would you be willing to pay child support?
Yes, absolutely.
Would you do financially whatever you needed to do to make sure your kids had a good life?
Yes.